Good morning and welcome to a yoga class that is going to have your brain and your vagus nerve in better shape than when you arrived. And we're going to test our vagus nerve by actually, if everyone could come to a sitting up position, because why don't we do that right now? And I'll explain a lot about the vagus nerve as we proceed through this class. But if you can, when we do alternate nostril breathing, which we're not going to do, but you take your peace fingers and fold them into your hand, because I just want you to check which nostril is more dominant this morning. So by just pressing where the cartilage and the flesh meet, just exhale through, your left nostril and exhale through your right and go. And you know what? They may be even, but just have close your eyes. So did anybody notice a difference from one side to the other? Was anybody more dominant, say, on the right side? Yeah, and what about the left? Okay, so it's about half and half. So this is interesting. This morning when I was preparing for class, my most dominant was my left nostril, which controls the right side of my brain. And the right side of my brain is the one that will do, well, it won't do my taxes. Somebody else's right brain will. But you know what I mean? It's like it takes everything out of one side of the brain and it makes it into lists and logical. So now, normally, and because we're going to talk about both things today, the brain and the vagus nerve, mostly both sides of the brain are working. But there are times during the day when it changes and switches over, and then that period where they're even. Now, most of us know that we need to be creative and we also have to be logical. So and the thing about the vagus nerve, and this can get just a little bit complicated, so I'll include some notes when I send out this class. But basically, when the right nostril is more open, which activates the left side of the brain, this is our sympathetic nervous system. This is when the vagus nerve is what they call low tone. So the vagus nerve is 80% sensory, and we really want to be sure that when we're not being physically active, like doing some wild exercise or at work, reading an email or writing an email, we want to make sure that we have the balance of the calm, of the rest and digest. So if your left nostril was more open, then you were activating your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest. And again, don't worry if you don't remember any of this, because it is a tad complicated, but the beautiful thing is, in my opinion, is that whether I tell you about this or not, you're still going to get those benefits. And science has shown that yoga is one of those great exercises that actually increases the thickness of your cerebral cortex. Now, this part of your brain is responsible for processing information, and they use MRI scans, they use, digital brain imaging technology to demonstrate that the hippocampus, which is the area of the brain involved in learning and memory, is also enhanced by your yoga practice. And as we age, typically these areas, like a lot of other aspects of our body, kind of shrink or shrivel. But it definitely, yoga, whether we are focusing on the aspects that we're going to focus on today, even if we don't focus on them, you're getting the benefits of a better brain activity, learning, memory, and of course, most of us know that all forms of exercise, even going for a walk, improves your mood. And when your mood is more positive, more upbeat, it makes us more resilient in the end. To be able to, and again, while we stimulate our vagus nerve, it also means we have a more tempered response to stressful situations. God only knows we need a more tempered response to life these days. And, fortunately, whatever, as we get older, more stuff happens. People die, we get unwell, we have accidents, no. But you know what? I'm glad you're all here, and let's begin our practice. And I do want to begin with, boy, I get more and more paper every week. Paper's me. We're going to start in our cat-cow, okay? So something else that stimulates both sides of the brain so that we're in harmony is doing things on opposite sides of the body. So we're going to start out in cat-cow because it's just the best way to warm up your spine and tone that vagus nerve. And it's interesting, Vegas and Las Vegas pronounce the same way, but Vegas comes from Latin and it means wandering. Okay, so on an exhale, round your spine, drop your tail, tuck your chin, pull your bellies in. And on an inhale, curl your toes under, hollow out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen through your neck, and perhaps draw your heart center just a tad more forward. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your chin, pull your bellies in. And inhale, curl your toes under, hollow out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen through your neck. And exhale into cat. So this helps to tone the vagus nerve, raise the tone of the vagus nerve, which starts at the bottom of the brain stem and goes all the way down right and left sides of your body and ends in your large intestine. And then curl your toes under and hollow out your lower back, lifting your tail, lengthening. And last time, flatten the tops of your feet, round your spine a lot, stretching it, tucking your chin, that Jalandhara lock by bringing your chin close to your chest also has a positive effect on the vagal nerve. And then curl your toes under, finally, hollowing out your lower back, lift your tail, lengthen. And let's come back to neutral, to tabletop. So here's where we get to stimulate both sides of the brain. Extend the right leg out behind you and the left arm straight out in front of you. Leave that left arm out and then drop your right leg to the floor. Curl the toes under and just press with your hips back a little bit so your toes are curled under. You're pressing back, stretching the back of the leg, the sole of your foot, and your toes. And then inhale, lift the leg back up. Exhale, bring both knee and elbow under the body. Inhale, stretch arm and leg out front and back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, lengthen and stretch. Exhale, crunch, elbow to knee. Last time, extend and bring it all down. Okay, take a deep breath here. And on an exhale, extend opposite arm and leg, front and back. Reaching, stretching, align your neck with your spine, and then lower the left foot to the floor. tuck the toes under, and just kind of press back a little bit with your body. So you're using that left hand on the floor just to press back a bit. Feel the stretch through the back of the leg. And then lift that back leg up, stretch, exhale, bring knee to elbow, inhale, stretch, exhale, knee to elbow, inhale, stretch, exhale, knee to elbow, inhale, stretch. Last time, knee to elbow, crunch, inhale, stretch, and come back to neutral. So it's interesting that, you know, there might have been a bit of wobbling. Well, that's fine, it works your core muscles, but this is how a baby learns to walk, and they develop, their stem cells develop more neurons. So anything you're doing, if it feels challenging or you're working a little harder at it, all good. You're developing more brain gray matter. All right, extend your left arm up, reach and stretch up, exhale, thread the needle. And bring your left shoulder and the left side of your face onto your mats and extend the other arm straight out in front. Last week we worked on our neck, shoulders, upper backs. There's going to be a little bit of that in this class as well. And then draw the arm that's in front, back and under your shoulder. Coming back to neutral, let's take the opposite arm, inhale, stretching up, exhale, thread the needle. So you're taking that arm under the opposite one as far to the side as you can to twist your torso, release your shoulder and the side of your face onto the floor, and tippy toe the fingers out in front. Your shoulder may or may not be on the ground, don't worry, but the side of your face or head should be. Chronic, even low-grade chronic stress is problematic for the body because it develops inflammation, and inflammation is a precursor to those diseases that end in itis. Cancer can also be part of an inflammatory response to the body. And listen, we all have cancer cells. Most of the time our immune cells, our systems are handling it. Draw that front arm back and press up. And then come down onto your tummies. And you're going to make a pillow with your forearms. And then with your legs on the floor, you're going to bend at the knees and take your knees a little bit wider apart. And then I just want you to windshield wipe the legs from side to side. So we store a lot of tension, hold a lot of tension and stress in the lower back and the sacral area. But this is also massaging the base of the vagus nerve. So releasing lower back and just windshield wiping the lower part of the legs from side to side. If your head feels better in the center, go for it. Wherever it feels okay. And then bring your knees a little closer together and continue with your windshield wiping. As I said, the vagus nerve, it is the largest of the cranial nerves, and there are two of them. They go down the right and left side of the body, starting at the brain stem and heading all the way down to the large intestine. Okay, lower the legs back down. Bring the hands under the shoulders and let's press up. Take your knees wide apart. Big toes touch, flatten the tops of your feet. Slowly take your hips back towards your heels. If you get cramping in the tops in your feet anywhere, just slow everything down. Slow it all down. Slowly taking your hips. Now, if bending your knees 90 degrees is an issue for you, then you're going to stay up in puppy pose and bring the knees under the hips and then lower the forehead onto the floor with your bum up in the air. But if you are able to come into that modified child's pose, I want you to breathe into your hips and your lower back and exhale as you soften and lengthen your spine. Inhaling into your hips, your lower back, your rib cage. Exhaling into your spine, releasing. Inhale, come on back up. And curl the toes under. And let's lift up into a downward facing dog. Now, walk your dog by straightening one leg, bending the other. Anytime we can get the head lower than the heart, and if having your head lower than your heart causes any dizziness, please use a chair or modify this, but 75%, only 25% of the blood goes up to the head, brain region, in our normal standing and sitting positions. So by lowering the head below the heart, we now get 75% of the blood bathing this area. And that will do. And then come on onto your knees if you are able to do that. Are you able to sit back on your heels? And if not, then perhaps either, sit on a bench or grab a chair. But if you can sit back on your heels, you can also, of course, use, if you have your blocks, just a cushion. If sitting down on your knees is a bit too much. Okay, inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, interlock your fingers, turn the palms up. Inhaling in place, exhale to the left side. Palms are turning up, inhale, exhale, other side. Inhale back to center, release your arms down, and now interlock your fingers behind the back of your head. We did something similar to this last week to strengthen the neck muscles, which have been stretched and moved in ways that aren't great for it. So with your fingers interlocked behind your head, I want you to press your head into your interlocked fingers. Press your head into it. And release. Okay, and release your arms down. And now inhale in place. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Tippy toe, the opposite fingers out to the opposite side. That'll be your left finger. And then turn your chin down to face the earth. And inhale and sweep the chin up to face the sky. So we're just rotating the neck and the head, but the head's just going with the neck. Exhale, chin to earth. So it's over onto the right side. Inhaling. Exhaling. If you wish, you can place your right hand on your lap and left hand out to the side. One more time. Inhale, lifting chin to sky. And let's come back to neutral. Inhaling in place. Exhale, drop the left ear over to the left shoulder, tippy toe the right fingers out to the side, and you can place your left hand on top of your thigh if that feels okay. And then lower the chin, so you're just lowering, you're twisting the neck, turning the neck to lower the chin to the earth. And then inhale, sweep the chin without moving where the neck is off to the side, sweep the chin up to sky. Exhale, chin to earth. Inhale, chin to sky. Exhale, chin to earth. And last time, up to the sky. And back to the center. And then just lower the chin towards the center of your chest. This is Jalandhara Bandha. It's a lock. This compresses the vagus nerve. And then inhale, lift the head back up. Exhale, lower the shoulders. Okay, come on back over onto all fours. Curl your toes under, lift your hips up. And then walk your feet towards your hands. If you can, grab your elbows, and again, just hang out here with your knees soft, your upper body loose, letting your head hang off your neck. So give your head a bit of a swing so you know you're not holding anything. Alrighty, and then with your knees soft, tuck your chin into your chest and slowly roll up one vertebra at a time. Let your head be the last thing to come up. And then roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, roll them back. Let's just take a moment here to review Tadasana. So your feet are about a fist width apart, and the outsides of your feet are parallel to the outsides of your mat. So you're going to feel slightly pigeon-toed. Your feet are about 1 fist width apart, so not very wide. And the outsides of your feet are parallel with the outsides of your mat. Lift your toes off the floor. Notice what is pressing into the floor. Is it more your baby toe mount or your big toe mount? Are you pronating? Are you supinating? We want a balance between the big toe mount and the baby toe mount so there's equal pressure. And then the center front of the heel, and then lower the toes down to the floor. By now your thighs should be activated with your kneecaps lifted. Imagine your pelvic bowl holding all the contents as opposed to that sway back where the contents can spill out of the front, or the collapsed lower back where the contents spill out of the back. We want these anterior and posterior iliac joints, so you can feel them. They kind of some of us have that little indentation in our backside, and then you can feel those hip bones in the front. They should be level so your pelvic bowl is not spilling. Lift up your sternum, shoulders, blades move towards one another, and then pull your shoulders down. You just got a longer neck. And let the crown of your head float up. And we will move into half sun salutations. If you've never seen one, never done one, perhaps it would be good to watch one so that you know what you're doing, but I will talk you through it. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, turn the palms out, bend your knees, swan dive your torso onto your thighs, fingertips tented on the floor just in front of and beside your toes, and then inhale. As you lift your hips up, the crown of your head goes down. You may or may not be able to straighten your legs. You can also put your blocks in front of you if you wish to put your hands on your blocks. And then exhale, bend your knees and come into that tuck position. If you watch skiers, you see that they get into that tuck position. And then inhale, sweep the arms out to the side using the power of the thighs to come back up, arms overhead, turn the palms out, spread your fingers as you lower your arms. Inhale, turn the palms up. Exhale, turn the palms down, bend your knees, swan dive your torso onto your thighs. Fingertips tented on the floor. On an inhale, lift your hips, let your spine hang, let that blood flow into your face, your brain region. Exhale, bend your knees. Really come into a nice tuck. So you're dropping your hips here. And this is great too for the hip flexors, for the hip joints. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, float the arms down, taking up lots of space. 2 more times. Inhale. Turn the palms out. Exhale. Fingertips touch the floor, tented. Inhale, lift the hips up. Let your heads hang. Exhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, lengthen your spine, shoulders back. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, reaching up. Exhale, turn the palms out and float the arms down. Last time. Inhale, turn the palms out, exhale. Fingertips tented on the floor, inhale, let your head hang. Now bend your right leg, place your right hand on your left instep, and inhale the left arm up. So you're twisting. Exhale, float that arm down. Let's bend the left leg. Place your left hand on your right instep, so your right leg will be straight, and then sweep the right arm up, reaching up, stretching up. Exhale, float it down. Bend your knees, and then inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Bring your hands into prayer. Exhale. Anjali Mudra. And release your arms down by your sides. Okay, so balance postures, they require both sides of your brain. And also some days balance postures are easy, some days they're not. So you're gonna wait for your own inner cue. Now, I think we did try dancer last week, but here's the thing. As I said, for some people, balance is not fun, or you may know that you want to go to a wall. So in dancer pose, because we're using both sides of the body, we can start just by standing on. Now, I'll do the mirror image. So let's balance on the right foot first and lift the left knee up. And just see how that goes. So, one of the things you can do with balance is to stare at the floor 8 or 9 feet in front of you because it's not moving. Try to block out whatever else is going on. And release that leg and give your standing leg a shake out. All right, take a moment, regroup, and let's try the other side. Just lifting the leg up. Focus your gaze. Okay, and then release and give the standing leg a shake out. So, depending on how you did that, we'll decide probably whether or not you want to move into dancer pose or not. Also too, we can do tree pose, that'd be fine. So in tree pose, and if your balance isn't feeling really great this morning, then start with balancing on your right foot and just bring the left foot inside. But if you do feel, and you may need to hold on, so this is okay, you can hold on to the ankle and raise the other arm up. There's your tree pose. And that might be the easier choice than dancer pose. And I think somebody in my evening class wants to spend more time on learning balancing, which is great. So, because again, as I said, it activates both sides of your brain. So in dancer pose, and if you're going to stay with tree pose, let's balance then on the left foot, and you're going to take your right leg behind you. And again, wait for your own inner cue, not mine. Lift the free arm up, and then lead with your heart. Kick your back leg back. Great. Awesome. Giving it a whirl. Okay, let's try the other leg. And again, if you're doing tree pose, just switch up to the other leg, but take your time. Excellent. These are, balance poses are tough, but we also need to get tough in this lifetime. Alrighty, let's come on down onto our bums. So it's not just enough to get blood to the brain, and we're going to do more of that too, but we also like to calm the mind. Stress is not our friend, typically, although a certain amount of stress is good because it gets us moving. So pull the flesh out from underneath your sits bones. Feel your sits bones grounding into the mat, if that's possible. Flex your feet a lot. And then inhale and sweep the arms up. Lift up out of your waist. Exhale halfway. Try to lengthen your spine as opposed to rounding your spine. And if you're not even able to go halfway, it doesn't matter. It's whatever your body is capable of, is giving your body exactly what it needs today. Don't do too much and don't do too little. And one more inhale, and then exhale, and just let your hands fall wherever they fall, whether it's on your shins, your knees, your ankles, maybe your toes. Just see where they land. But whatever you can hang on to, inhale, lift and lengthen your spine, lift your hearts. Exhale, forward fold, whatever amount you can. Close your eyes. Yeah, you're going to feel some burn in your hamstrings, the backs of your thighs. That's normal. They're firing. That's all they're doing. They're being activated. They're firing. One more inhale. Imagine you're lengthening your spine. So you're reaching forward or upwards with the crown of your head. And on an exhale, once again, can you fold and bring your hearts a little bit closer towards your legs, even if it's just a thought, an idea. Forward bends were my nemesis when I started yoga. I didn't have much flexibility. I was better in my backward bending. Some people, it's the opposite. And there's no prizes for being better at one or the other. It doesn't matter. But the ego likes flattery. So when something's difficult, it's usually our egos that start complaining. I don't like this. I'm not good at this. I don't want to do this. Just notice if that's going on for you. One more breath in. lifting up to lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. And then walk your hands up your legs and just place your hands beside your hips. And notice how much easier it is to sit up straight, having stretched your hamstrings, stretched through the lower back and the spine, and with your eyes closed, whether or not there was a calming effect when you're done on your mind. Great. Now, bang out the backs of your legs. Twist position. Place your left foot outside of your right knee. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below the knee and pull your torso towards your thigh. Flex the foot of the straight leg. Place your left arm behind you to prop up and keep your spine nice and tall. Inhaling, right arm up. Exhale, bring the elbow either outside of the knee if that's available, or wrap the elbow around the kneecap, whichever one feels best. And then inhale, using your back arm to straighten your torso. Feel your sits bones grounding and the crown of your head reaching skyward. On an exhale, can you twist a little bit more? One more inhale, and exhale to counter twist to the other side. Exhale, come back to center and extend the bent leg, and then place the opposite foot outside of the knee, flat on the floor. So outside of the knee, yep. And then flex the foot of the straight leg, interlock your fingers 2 inches below, feel your sits bones. And then place your right arm directly behind you. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, twist and turn. Again, elbow either outside of the knee or around the knee, whatever feels best for you today. And then inhaling to lengthen, exhaling to twist and turn. So because the vagus nerve is 80% sensory, when we close our eyes, we reduce the amount of sensory information, which has a calming effect on the vagus nerve. In fact, pratyahara is the fifth limb. It's higher than pranayama, breathing exercises. It's higher than asana on the Ashtanga 8-limb ladder of yoga, according to Patanjali, the father of yoga. So pratyahara is withdrawal of senses to help calm the vagus nerve, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. And then inhale to lengthen, exhale, slowly release over to the other side, and come back to the center. So a couple other techniques to calm the vagus nerve. I don't know how many of you, did everybody get some blocks to sit on? So if you can sit cross-legged, you know, anybody who's dealing with like panic attacks, anxiety, fear, worry, and we all are from time to time. And it's hard when we're in that sympathetic fight or flight to think about these things. But if we practice them when we're not in our fight or flight, you know, it's amazing what will come up with you. Like a lot of you know about these blocks now. And when you're feeling that stress between the shoulder blades, you're learning how to self-soothe, how to release some of that. So there's 3 breathing techniques that are very helpful for activating your vagus nerve, which then activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is a way of just letting stress dissolve, anxiety, fear, whatever it is, because none of those things are any fun whatsoever. So one of them is called Brahmari. It's actually humming, but you know what? It could be campfire singing. It can be singing, period, but humming, Om, mantra. So in Brahmari, which is a breathing technique, it's really just singing like a bee. So you would literally like take a deep breath in. We can all do this, and then you know what a bee sounds like. And you can sing at any note you want. Now, one of the things that, and I didn't care for it myself, but if you press your finger between, so it's by your cheek, but it's actually between that little bit of cartilage and your cheek. If you press in there, and then you try this again, and what you can do, as I said, I wasn't crazy about it, but you can press back and forth, and then you get that, you know, whatever. But it stimulates your vagus nerve, which calms your entire system. So let's try this. So you can press in. So inhale. So did you try that pressing in and out? It's kind of like, but you know what? I mean, if it works, it works. So I don't know what part of me was thinking it didn't work. Okay, now chin lock. And we do these in yoga, but the chin lock, it's simple, Jalandhara Bandha. This compression of any nerve in the body, and then the release allows blood flow to come in. It's just totally healthy, but we're doing it all the time in yoga. But this is now bringing your conscious awareness to these practices. So inhale in place. Exhale, drop your chin towards your chest. Just drop your chin towards your chest. And then inhale and lift your head up. And that's how simple it is. So freaking out about something, inhale. Exhale, close your eyes, drop your chin towards your chest. Inhale, head back up. Okay, and finally, and we can do this with the same exercise, and I've talked about this before. If you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8, this is one pranayama technique. But if this doesn't feel right for you to even do that today for whatever reason, then the other thing I would suggest is that we're just going to breathe in. You're just going to breathe in, you're going to breathe out, and you're going to pause at the bottom of the exhalation, okay? So that's the other option if you prefer not to do this 4-4-8 breathing. And then we're going to move back into postures again. But if you can make your exhalation twice as long as your inhalation, you will let go of untold amounts of stress and tension, whether it's physical, emotional, mental. These are techniques I've known about for years, but we forget because you know what? When we're all excited, we're like, we're breathing quickly and we're breathing only into our chest and the rest of our body isn't getting anything, and that just creates more stress and tension. So, and we all do that. I mean, if you're running a race, yep, you're in your fight or flight, or if you're running away from somebody or you're late for the bus or late for something, no, you're absolutely in fight or flight, and that's the sympathetic nervous system, and we need it. So it's not like we don't need the sympathetic nervous system. But today we seem like we're more in our sympathetic and not enough in our parasympathetic, which is our heal, restore, balance, rest, digest. Lets the body catch up with, what's going on. Alrighty, so inhaling in place and exhale to 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift your head up and exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale to 4. Lower your head for 4, holding. Bring the head back up. Exhale. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then let's just do regular inhalation and exhalation again, just to anchor this idea of inhaling in place for 4. Exhaling for 8, just keep your head up. At the bottom of that exhalation, just hold a moment. And then inhale. Exhale. And pause at the bottom of your exhalation. Notice the cessation of thinking. Inhale. Exhale. Pause at the bottom of your exhalation. Pretty impossible to have a thought there, isn't it? And then inhale. And let it go. So if you find yourself in bed at night with a thought that keeps going over and over, you're ruminating over something that happened, think about, if you can, about practicing your breathing, exhaling as long as you can, maybe double the inhale, and then pause at the bottom. And just see if that can help calm your mind, bring you into your state of rest and digest. Let's come on to our backs. Now, we are going to do an inversion. We haven't done many this session yet, but they're powerful, they're potent, they're excellent for what we're doing right now, which is bringing more blood supply. Now, if for some reason you feel that, no, I don't want to do an inversion, shoulder stand and plow post are what we're going to do, halasana and sarvangasana, please take your blocks, place it underneath your sacrum, and as high as you can. If you don't think you want to do an inversion, it's okay. And then lift your legs up in the air. Just get your legs up so that you're getting a bit of a chin lock. You're going to point your chin towards your chest. We're all going to get one when we do shoulder stand and halasana, so you don't have to think about it. But if you're in your bridge pose, supported bridge pose with your blocks under your sacrum, tilt your chin towards your chest. Everybody else, bend your legs, place the soles of your feet on the floor. Arms are beside the body, and then lift the legs just halfway over behind your head. Just halfway, no big deal. And drop your knees towards your chest, maybe your heels towards your bum. You're supporting your hips here. And we're just getting used to inverting. Okay, now, bring your hands up a little higher up your back, maybe your waist, maybe even a little higher towards your kidneys. So now, with your hands higher up, your spine should be a little straighter. And then, if you're able, lift your legs up, straight up, coming into shoulder stand. Now there's a natural compression here at the throat area, which raises the tone of the vagus nerve. Take your legs wide apart. Slowly and carefully Lower your legs down over behind your head, or leave your legs up if you don't feel you want to take on halasana. So when the upper back and the neck get a little bit looser and your hamstrings a little more stretched, your toes may touch the floor, but do not force anything. Inhale, legs back up, and bring the legs together. And take the legs apart once again, and lower the legs down over behind your head. Inhale, legs up, and bring the legs together. And let's lower the right knee towards the right ear, and the left leg down over behind your head. Inhaling back up, and take the right leg back up. Lower the left knee to the left ear, and then lower the right leg down over behind your head. Just let it organically fall to where it's happy. Inhale, the right leg back up and left leg up. And if you're able to hold another 10 seconds. So, as I said, normally only 25% of the blood flow is getting up to our brain area. This is all reversed now. And then lower the leg halfway over behind the head. Release your hands to the floor. And slowly, with control, lower your torso all the way back down. And finally, your legs as well. If you have lower back issues, you may wish to bend your legs. If not, slowly lower the legs so you get some activation of your abdominal and core muscles. Center yourself on your mats. Inhaling in place. Exhale, draw the right knee up and interlock your fingers 2 inches below the knee. Avoid your rib cage. Pointing the knee towards your armpit. Tuck your shoulder blades under. Lengthen your neck by bringing your chin towards the center of your chest. And let's mobilize the ankle joint by rotating the foot. And change the direction. And then point the foot, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. And then place your left hand on the outside of your right knee and draw it across your body, rolling onto your left hip. Extend your right arm out to the right side. So keep a little bit of pressure on the outside of your right knee with your left hand. So again, creating some space, releasing tension and tightness from the lower back. The back had to work to hold ourselves up in shoulder stand. Inhale, bring the knee back to center. And then one more time, hug the knee into the chest, pressing into your ascending colon. And then place your hands towards your ankle. Keep your knee soft at this point. Don't lock the knee by pressing the knee back. Keeping the shoulder blades on the floor with your fingers wrapped around either the ankle or the calf of the right leg. Inhaling in place. Exhale, pull the leg towards you as you lift your head, neck, and shoulders off the floor. More compression here in the ascending colon. All part of the large intestine where your vagus nerve is based. ends, starts at the brain region, and then release that leg, and using your muscles, not gravity, lengthen and slowly lower the leg back down to your mat. Straighten yourselves on your mat, inhaling in place. Exhale, draw your left knee up. Interlock your fingers 2 inches below. Avoid your rib cage by pointing the knee towards the armpit, but do pull down, getting into your descending colon now. And let's rotate the foot, activating and releasing synovial fluid stored up in the cartilage of your joints. And by moving it, this releases, change the direction, this fluid, to keep your ankles Tip Top Magoo. And then point the foot and flex, point, flex, point and flex. Place your right hand on the outside of your left knee and gently take that knee over to the right side, extending your left arm out to the left side. So yes, you will feel some tightness through the glutes, perhaps the hips. Remember, the hips are our junk drawers. We shove whatever emotions we're not able to process and deal with at the moment, and we may not even be aware of them. But you know, the mind can only hold one conscious thought at a time. So when we find our center and we start to become aware of what we're thinking, choose something positive, choose something constructive. Even if it doesn't appear that it will be the way things will go, there's much more between heaven and earth, Horatio, than you and I will ever understand. And sometimes something called divine intervention occurs to create what we can't imagine as turning out to be positive. But it happens, and maybe there are examples in your own life. I certainly have them in my lifetime where I thought, this is not good. And it turned out to be fantastic. So let go. Choose positive, choose constructive. Inhale, bring the knee back to center. Once again, interlock your fingers just below the knee and press now into your chest and your descending colon. And then reach your hands up towards your ankle or calf. Please don't lock the knee. Shoulder blades are on the mat. Maybe your shoulders are off the mat. They probably are. Inhaling in place. Exhale, pull the leg towards you and lift your head, neck, shoulders, and bring your nose to your knee, your chin to your shin. Now, inhale, straighten the leg, bring your arms beside your body, lengthen it, and slowly lower that leg, activating hip flexors, lower abs, and quadriceps, the front of your thighs. Center yourself on your mats. Lift your shoulder blades, tuck them under your hearts. Arms are beside your body with your palms facing up. And just let everything be soft and heavy for a moment and allow the benefits of your performance to be absorbed. So here's a chance now, as your breathing starts to slow down, let your exhalation be at least as long, but ideally twice as long as your inhalation. And again, you can pause at the bottom of your exhalation. And notice when you pause at the bottom of your exhalation, cessation, stop all thinking. Stop the press. All righty. Draw your knees up in towards your chest, or if you prefer, you can roll over onto your side or rock up to a seated position. And come on, oh, are we at 11 o'clock already? Well, you are saved by the bell, people. I was gonna have you do something fun. Tech guy, you're not looking at your phone, are you, down there? Because I need you to be a good example. Okay, everybody, well, guess what? It's time to lie down and play dead. So, come on into Shavasana. Feel good about your efforts, everybody. Put socks or a top on if you need to be warm. And I have a few more things to say around this topic of your vagus nerve. Coming to your final posture, and it is a posture. Close your eyes. Let your eyeballs sink into their sockets. Separate the biting surfaces of the teeth. Relax your jaw. Turn your palms up in the open and receiving position. And let your body be soft and heavy. So by stimulating your vagus nerve, which you do in every single yoga class, you're actually signaling your body to de-stress and relax. Probably 20 years ago, the average doctor started to come to the conclusion that 75% of all disease, which I liken to a lack of ease, because we don't have to have a disease manifest, but when our entire body doesn't feel at ease, it's always in this chronic low-grade stress or low-grade anxiety. These things take their toll because it signals your adrenal glands to release acidic hormones called adrenaline and cortisol. Again, they're not all bad. You just don't want them all the time. It's like a diet of tofu. No, you shouldn't be eating tofu 3 meals a day or steak or whatever it is that you love to eat. The other thing is that when we do things like hum, sing, sit around a campfire singing, I mean, those days seem like they're coming sooner than later now. This stimulates the vagus nerve. It also produces those feel-good hormones of dopamine and serotonin. They didn't mention whistling as something that was useful, but I would say that if you like to whistle, it will probably do the same job as humming, oming, singing. So a healthy vagal nerve equals emotional regulation, and you can really think of your vagus nerve as your body's superpower. And by lying down, breathing through your nostrils, long, full, and deep, Exhaling deeply, full and long. You're stimulating your superpower, your vagus nerve, or nerves, because there are two of them, largest of your cranial nerves, extending from your brain basically to your gut. And your gut, and we all know we've got brain cells in our guts. Now you're learning a little more about this. Feeds the brain with a lot of information. Therefore, that superpower, a healthy toned vagus nerve, is going to send calm, positive messages to your brain, not stressed out, angry, or tense messages when the vagus nerve is not being cared for. Inhaling the life force, long, full, and deep, and deep. Exhaling. Inhaling very, very deep. And letting go. Inhale, stretch your arms over behind your heads. Reach and stretch. Point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your side. Inhale, stretch your arms skybound. Reach and stretch, point feet far, flex and point, and drop your arms down by your sides. Roll over onto your right side. Use your top arm to press yourself back up into a seated position. Close your eyes. If you can find your block, place it under your buttocks. And then just take a moment again to press into your one nostril at a time. Just check and see what's going on, if one's more dominant than the other, if you could notice. They may be balanced by now, or you may notice a difference. Because I've still been talking and thinking, my left nostril's more open, and so that's activating right side of my brain, which is the one that is doing and not painting, singing, dancing. So there you have it. Thank you so much for coming out to share your practice today. Have a good day. Namaste.